All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are now talking about what's ahead here in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage, the only platform where all music and all wrestling matters, Sportswire Radio. And the man that is there, he's literally there. Everybody's seen what happened at Wrestlemania night when this man had a front row seat, and he's going to have a front row seat. What's about to happen here shortly at Wrestlemania night 2. He is the host of the premier show on Sportswire Radio when it comes to all of your WWE coverage and much, much more. He is Chris Belcher, the host and creator of the Squared Circle Radio Show. My friend, how are we doing?
Man, I'm tired. I'm very tired.
I could see that already.
Las Vegas takes a lot out of you. On Friday when I was here, I walked over 40,000 steps. I'm tired.
I do that on a regular basis. I was at a party yesterday, sort of watching WrestleMania, a little between New York Knicks basketball and WrestleMania Night 1, because my buddy, Mr. Joseph Roses, had 3 television screens, and he said, how many steps do you walk in a day? I said, 20,000 plus here, 25,000, 36,000. But to do that one time when you hadn't done that before, you're going to definitely be feeling that. No question.
It's a lot. It's a lot. But as you said, I'm here in Las Vegas. I don't know if you can see out of my hotel room. I don't know if I can get the camera around. The sun's too bright.
Man, listen, I would love to trade places with you right now, because I'm in New York City, and it's cold, it's dreary, and a few days ago it was probably hotter than it was in Vegas, but now we're back to being cold and dreary and depressing. But that's how it goes. That's the life of a city dweller. But you are not dwelling out there, and let's get into it. Because you're a busy man, you're getting ready to go there at night 2 coming up. But so give me your overall reactions on what happened at night 1.
First of all, I appreciate being known as the premier stop on Sportswire Radio for all things WWE. We do take pride in that, and we appreciate everything that Sportswire Radio does for us. Appreciate you having me on today as we look ahead to WrestleMania night number 2. Night number 1, mixed reactions if you're reading on the internet. I will say, from being there in person, the crowd was in it from beginning to end. There was no point in which there was a dip. There was no point in which the crowd hated anything. Of course, there were boos when you're supposed to boo and that sort of thing, but they were in every bit of it, which I thought was awesome, because you just wonder what you're going to get from a Las Vegas crowd, especially coming back to WrestleMania 2 years in a row. So I thought the crowd was great. I thought the in-ring action was great. I thought it seemed very quick. A lot of people online complaining about ad times and this, that, and the other. I'm not going to get into that, because I think there's an argument to be made for WWE as opposed to against WWE. But from night number 1, I think we left with more questions than answers as far as Randy Orton, Cody Rhodes, Pat McAfee, that sort of situation. Not quite sure if this completely writes Pat out. I know he said he was going to leave if Randy didn't win. I'm not sure what this does for Randy if his injury is legit going forward. And I'm not sure how this changes Cody Rhodes at all, being the undisputed champion still. I think many picked Randy Orton to walk out with his 15th championship, and that's not what we got. What we got, though, was a true return of 2009 Randy Orton punting Cody Rhodes, swelling his eyes shut. So I'll be anxious to see what the next chapter is for both of them. That's the big takeaway. And I think Gunther and Seth Rollins stole the show. I think Paige returning was absolutely incredible. I think you could have downplayed the stipulation on Drew McIntyre and Jacob Fatu a little bit. And I thought ISO Speed was what it was, and it was a cool viral moment. Becky Lynch beating AJ Lee didn't surprise me very much.
AJ's already beaten Becky multiple times. Eventually Becky's got to get one here.
Yeah, it was going to happen. And then I think I missed one. Oh, Liv Morgan winning against Stephanie Vaquer, I thought was the absolute right call. Again, I'm probably in the minority there, but I thought that was the right call.
Let's go back to Randy Orton for a minute, because a lot of people, I was out and people were talking to me about it, and they said, Randy Orton, he's gonna win this, and Cody, but You talked about a few things there, maybe
Yep.
a Randy Orton injury. I don't know if that impacted that or not, but considering the character that we have gotten recently these last few weeks with Randy Orton, that alliance with Pat McAfee, I mean, since Randy Orton walked away empty-handed, and let's say hypothetically he's okay and he comes back out there for SmackDown. I mean, so where do we go from here then with, let's say, a Randy Orton?
You have to look at the fact that, okay, it seems obvious without anybody saying it that TKO inserted Pat McAfee into this to give it a little bit of surge. It's 3 years in a row now that they've tried to meddle in a Cody Rhodes story. And I think that's what happens when the Golden Goose gets huge. The company says, oh, we need a piece of that. It's an organic growth, but we need a piece of
Roll
that.
being involved.
Exactly. And I'll say this. The Jelly Roll got a huge pop last night. And there was a thank you Jelly chant after that happened, after he splashed McAfee through the table. So did not get the negative reaction that I expected. But as far as Randy is concerned, I think you could look at this as almost a reset in a way that this is the story maybe we should have told heading into WrestleMania before TKO got involved, because I don't think Cody and Randy are done. I think that a return to 2009 Randy allows Randy's back to heal a little bit if there is a legit injury there, and you can maybe get 1-2 more matches out of Cody and Randy. I think it's great that if he is legit hurt, that they didn't put the title on him, because spoiler alert, my prediction for night number 2 could be holding a championship hostage, and I don't think you want that on both shows. So I thought it was fine that Cody Rhodes won. I thought Randy winning would be a better continuation of whatever story that we're trying to tell, but him losing and RKOing Pat at the same time, I think goes to show you that Randy stands on his own. And Randy, the only voice that Randy needs to listen to is the voice in his head, not the voice on his phone. So I'm interested to see what story they tell with it going forward. To a long way to answer your question, Tom. I don't know what they're going to tell going forward. I'm anxious to see what they do.
I guess you could say, okay, Cody's got now somebody that's a foil for him. We know the history there. Maybe you, like you said, you can get a payoff for another match. Maybe extend this here another few weeks, another month. Yeah, that would kind of make sense. And we know Randy's the Viper. He, is always, he can do whatever he wants at any given second. So considering what happened in the match, yeah, maybe you make a point that maybe we could see this for a little while longer, but Cody, going back to him for a minute, we're going to expect him then to hold on to this title for maybe a longer period of time.
I would say at least till SummerSlam. I don't know if it's a Cody Randy all the way to SummerSlam.
I don't think so either. I don't think so either.
I don't know. Because again, I don't know what Randy's status is going to be. I think that's almost the luxury of this. And Andy and I get into this discussion on Squared Circle Radio all the time about real injuries versus storyline injuries, what we should know and what we don't know. It almost makes it more interesting, Tom, because you look at it and you don't have to dive in and speculate everything. Just watch what's on your screen, see what's going to happen. And if Randy surprisingly pops up and wins the championship, even though he's hurt, then he does. And that makes for a more intriguing storyline rather than us trying to get into the weeds about, is he hurt? Should he even be on here? Why are they facing each other? Who's Cody going to face? So you're exactly right. This Cody Randy story is never going to end, no matter if they have a rematch now or SummerSlam or whatever. So you have that built in. I don't know who else that you have. I don't know what Cody's next challenger is if it's not Randy, though, because he's already ran through Drew. It's probably not gonna be Jacob.
And Jacob just beat Drew. So we know Drew, that's not gonna happen again. Drew
exactly. So I don't, maybe it's an Aleister Black. Maybe we do that. I don't know. It'll be interesting, but I would say Cody holds on to the title till at least SummerSlam.
Which I think makes sense, because obviously that's the next big premium live event where at this point SummerSlam is almost kind of your number 2, especially after WrestleMania. So that would make sense, and that gives us a few more months to kind of see where we go from it. Like you said, obviously, let's see what happened with Randy's injuries. And speaking of people that returned, you mentioned that Paige returns here and wins the tag team championships with Brie Bella. And so you like that? And what did you make of that whole situation there? Paige comes out of nowhere, out of thin air, and tag teams with Brie Bella. I guess the history was brought up and their long-term friendship that they've had since the very beginnings of at least Paige coming into WWE. The Bellas are back in. And did Paige need to win the tag team championships alongside Brie Bella?
No. So if you look at, I'll get to the feel good stuff in just a second, but if you look at what happened last year, Bayley was taken out, insert Becky Lynch, Becky and Lyra win the tag team championships. What happens the next night? They drop them on Monday Night Raw. So I fully expect either on Raw or SmackDown for Paige and Brie to drop the championship. I don't know to who, one of those 4 teams, because Tom, look, every single year on the Raw and SmackDown after WrestleMania, there's WrestleMania rematches.
Right, Christian Lita came back the year before, right? That was
exactly
going to your point.
Exactly. So I do not expect them to hold on to this long. If they do hold on to it long, I think it's a nice built-in story for Nikki to turn heel on Paige, and you can break that up, and that's an immediate first opponent for Paige. Even if she loses the tag team titles, you could have Nikki and Brie turn on her, that sort of thing. People love to hate the Bellas, so I think that's a great spot for them to be in. As far as Paige returning, I hate the internet because the internet spoiled this for us on Friday. And
I know. People were talking about that where I was yesterday, and it was like, yeah, all right, foregone conclusion. I mean, just book it at this point.
Yep, but it did not take away from the pop, Tom. I mean, there were dudes in the rows in front of me jumping up and down when her music hit. Like, people were thrilled for this to happen. Huge pop. I don't want to say it was the pop of the night because I think that was the RKO that Pat McAfee ate. I think that was the pop of the night. But Paige returning was awesome. We've long speculated that it should have happened back at the Royal Rumble. I'm glad that they waited until WrestleMania. She said it on the post show. She's home. She's exactly where she needs to be. I thought she looked great in the few minutes that she was in the ring. And it's, as Andy and I said on our post show last night on the Squared Circle Radio YouTube channel, it's the kick in the pants that the women's division needs. Like with Bianca Belair now on the shelf for another year, with Naomi still out, I think the women's division needs a kick in the pants with Becky Lynch holding down the mid card. And Paige is going to be that one that can help if she's inserted correctly. If she's there on a weekly basis, she can really help the elevation of this women's division.
Well, I think that's the interesting point because we know her history with some different issues, especially her neck. Yes. So I think the point could be made. Well, what do we get from Paige on a weekly basis? I think that's a point. But again, interesting to see her back. Definitely the reaction was there. And you mentioned Liv Morgan winning the women's championship. And you didn't seem to be in the majority of what people felt on that.
No, the crowd response for Stephanie Vaquer in the building last night was awesome. Like, it was really cool.
I was yesterday watching it, not to cut you off. My friend is not really a big wrestling fan, Joseph Rosas, who might be watching this or may not when I put it out there. It was what you'd say at the casual. Give me a big event. I'm watching. I'm sitting there. Sure. I got the TVs. And he was into Stephanie. Liv Morgan, not so much.
Well, and I'll say this about Liv. I said this on the post show last night. That is, we have a problem with characters in the women's division and the lack of character development. Liv Morgan is a character that you don't need to change or you don't need to touch. And if they're doing this, and they're doing this Britney Spears like gimmick with her,
I didn't want to bring it up because I was like, I don't know if I want to go there. And you also got to get ready to go tonight too. And
no, you're good. You're good.
I mean, I don't know what to make of it. I mean, this clearly has to be a TKO idea, thinking that Liv Morgan somehow is in the vein of Britney Spears. We've had her on the roster for 10 years at this point. Now we've just thought about this.
I know, like it just and we've had her for 10 years and she's finally in the sweet spot. She is finally who she needs to be. And now we're gonna mess with it. Like, kudos to her if she has legit success with this song and this music video. Because it seems like a lot of people on the internet love this song. A
Yeah.
lot of people are digging the song and the video. Okay, fine. But her character was so good. Don't mess with it. Don't do something stupid with it.
Yeah.
If you want to make it her entrance music, okay, fine. Let's not have her
But
dance
it's
every time
almost
she
more
comes
make
to the ring.
believing she's a real pop star, and all of a sudden, like I said, my only thing is with it. She's been here for 10 years in
Yep.
the W. And we know her journey. She has fought tooth
Yep.
and nail to get
Yep.
to, like you said, that sweet spot. Now all of a sudden, it's almost like we've got selective amnesia. And I know clearly TKO probably hasn't watched WWE for certainly no more than since they've been involved in it. But
Yep.
I mean, we never knew anything about Liv Morgan's vocal skills at all.
I don't think there are many skills there, if I'm being honest, Tom. And I love Liv Morgan to
Listen,
death.
and it's
But
okay. I get on the people that have the real vocal skills here on
right.
Sportswire, and I wouldn't even want to dare bring that up. But no, I think most people, objectively speaking, would say this is auto-tune.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Yeah. Without a
And
shadow
you're
of
a
a doubt.
drummer yourself. You know, you're a drummer
I know.
yourself. You're a pretty good musician, though, despite what Mr. B would say. You got some
Hey,
chops in your own right. So you
well,
can tell.
yeah, and I'm not even going to bring up the Wonder Years debacle that was Becky Lynch's entrance last night.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
absolutely
We're not gonna,
atrocious.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
anyway,
No.
I digress. Your original question was about Stephanie Vicaire. I think with a little development and a mouthpiece to help her out, we can further explain why she is the way that she is. The support is there. The in-ring performance is there. She's still young and green to the WWE product, and she needs just a little more time. And I think having her chase Liv rather than hold the championship will help her a whole lot, because I don't think this is the end for them. I was very skeptical when this match was announced, and they've turned it into a really nice feud that I think can continue at least through Backlash, maybe one more pay-per-view, probably not all the way to SummerSlam, but it has more legs than just WrestleMania. So I like that. I think now with Liv as the champion, she might be able to bring some more out of Stephanie. And who knows what's going to happen with Raquel and Roxanne and that whole situation. But I think it's fine that you put the championship on a more popular character, on a more well-known character, especially if this music video thing takes off. Again, I know it's not great, but that's a great way to represent her as champion.
Oh, it's good. Listen, it's already gotten engagement. It's already gotten, again, what have we learned about TKO? They want the casuals. They want the people. And I even heard Triple H and Shawn Michaels talk about this. They did some variety thing on YouTube, and they talked about NXT is for more like us, people that know wrestling and follow the sport. And then there's the fans of people that watch Raw and SmackDown, and we know what they are, more casual. Maybe they're wrestling fans as well, but they're going for a different thing. So obviously they're trying to see if they catch lightning in a bottle. And listen, judging on social media, they've certainly got the reactions. We'll have to see, like you said, long term. I do want to go over to night 2 because I know you're going to go there literally and get into your seat soon, but AJ Lee, do you think after what we saw here, is AJ going to be a long-term member of the roster? It was a big deal for her to come back, and I kind of feel like, and I know where you're going with this, because I kind of think the same way, that this was kind of maybe the way to kind of exit stage left. AJ, what's your thoughts on that and where we go from here with AJ Lee going forward?
She said it on the post show. She said, something to the effect of, this isn't goodbye, this is see you later. To me, that means she's done until at least SummerSlam, probably until WrestleMania next year. I think her coming back, I don't think she ever wanted to be full-time. I don't think that, look, she's only wrestled, 4-5 matches? And that's fine. I don't fault her for that. Let's make right the wrong. That was her exit. Let's bring her back. Let's make sure that she gets a moment in the sun. Let's give her a WrestleMania match after 11 years. and let's make it right. And I think they have made it right. I think they have given us the feel good story of her wrapping this story with Becky Lynch. And now whatever she does after that, I don't know. I don't think we need to force it. I think the story with Becky was built in because of the whole Punk thing and Seth and et cetera, et cetera. So does she need to wrestle Bayley? No. Does she need to wrestle Charlotte? No. Does she need to wrestle Paige? Maybe. We'll see how long Paige is around for, because that was a rivalry, a big time rivalry then. But to answer your question, I don't think she's around much longer. She might have another match or two in her if the situation and circumstances are right. But for the most part, no, I think she's done.
Yeah, and I think considering we know what AJ's legacy is, and I think again, not to compare in the Trish Stratus vein,
right,
but in the sense that you don't want to have her wrestle so many times. You don't want to, because there's that certainly attraction, there's that mystique that AJ brings to the table. So that's what I kind of figured that, and based off the post show, I think you and I think the same, that this is probably, again, something where if we're lucky, maybe we see her on Raw tomorrow night, but more than likely we're not going to see her here for a while. And I think that's what, listen, the fact that we even got AJ, especially after I mean, we didn't think, I know Punk had been back for a while, but we really didn't think that would happen. So I kind of think, again, you would take away from some of that attraction with AJ Lee to continue to have her out there. And, you even thought that depending on Paige's health and what she can do, you basically replaced, AJ with Paige. So we'll have to certainly see what happens there. We are here with Chris Belcher. He is, again, the man that has created the Squared Circle Radio. You think about where the Squared Circle Radio has been, ladies and gentlemen, 5 years plus, and everything that they're only 2 subscribers away from 400. So if you have a chance, I've been putting up the X, the Instagram,
let's go.
YouTube pages. Get the sub button out there. It's free. All you got to do is hit that notification, and please support the Squared Circle Radio for all the great things that they have done. They've had some really, really big shows on their YouTube channel. Please check them out. They also have all the time, every Monday night, post-Raw live reactions. They've got City Kitty in the chat. They've got a lot of great other people there. So please support the Squared Circle Radio. My name is Tom Bryce, your voice, figuratively and literally, with all music and all that. I get Jacob, I get Drew, I got that. I kind of feel that, we could maybe talk about that toward the end. But before I switch over to what we can expect here at night 2, I got to talk to you for a few minutes about your reactions, because you were there, obviously. Hall of Fame ceremony, the whole thing that went down with Sid being in the legacy class, not maybe with the others. I mean, just overall, you were there. What's your reactions on how this year's Hall of Fame class was handled?
I don't read too much into it, if I'm being honest, Tom. I don't know exactly what the difference in the legacy wing and the real wing, and they've never really given us a true definition of why somebody goes in the legacy wing versus not. Maybe that's for those people who were just on the outside of the Hall of Fame, but we can give them a little bit of a nod, because after all, this is not a true sports Hall of Fame. This is not, hey, Peyton Manning's the first ballot Hall of Famer. Hey, this, that, or the other. It's not based on true performance. It is in the sense of longevity, in the sense of fan reaction, in the sense of impact on the business. But at the end of the day, all that is manufactured. So read into that what you will, as far as Sid goes and as far as Bad News Brown and the legacy wing goes. But I'll circle back to TKO here. If Dennis Rodman's going to the Hall of Fame, guess what? He's getting a speech, because we're in Las Vegas.
I know. And
he's getting a speech. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Demolition has been on the outs with WWE for I don't know how many years. Guess what? They're getting a speech, because they're one of the greatest tag teams of all time. They're getting up there. AJ Styles, you're not taking a speech away from him. He's a headliner. Stephanie McMahon, you're not taking away from her. She's a headliner. Yep. Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant are both dead. There's there's nothing there. Sid has passed away. Bad News has passed away. Okay. If we're inducting people after their death and they're going to the legacy wing because they've already passed, okay. If that's the criteria, that's the criteria. Tell us that. You know what I mean? So I think, Tom, that's what a lot of the issue is is that we don't really know what the difference is. So
Yeah, because we have
again,
no physical WWE Hall of Fame also,
we
so it's
don't.
kind of something that's there's no committee, it's just basically whoever TKO and I'm assuming Triple H, maybe one or
Mhm.
two other people get a chance to pick. So
Yep.
there's no arbitrary, or there's no, in baseball they complain about there's a veterans committee, there's a golden age now vote, and all these different things that come out. And all the other sports, it's kind of the same thing, but the WWE process. And I guess maybe fans were outraged more about Sid, not as much as Bad News Brown, because Sid was a guy that certainly the more of the modern fan knows Sid. Obviously, 2 main events at WrestleMania. He was the world champion in both promotions and certainly was a charismatic figure. Maybe there's other things there. He did famously have that incident with Arn Anderson, we know, where he almost killed him. So maybe that's another thing too, from a corporate standpoint. So, okay, that's a fair point.
Well,
You know,
Andy brought this up on our Hall of Fame episode, which is available on Squared Circle Radio YouTube channel and wherever you get your podcast. We covered all the Hall of Fame inductees. He brought this up, and I think it's an excellent comparison. Sid and Lex Luger, both big, jacked up guys, both were world champions, but did they really, really have a Hall of Fame career where they connected with the people, where they were great in the ring, where they had excellent main events, longevity, this, that, and the other? Luger connected with the fans. Sid connected with the fans. Were either of them great in the ring? No. Lex was very into his physique and the way he looked and his ego, and Sid just wanted to take time off to go play softball.
well,
Like,
I think,
just,
I think,
it is what it is.
Yeah, well, I think Lex though did have longevity, at least in and around the main event. Whereas I think your point is that Sid certainly had some stints in between WWE, WWF, WCW, and WA. I mean, he never stayed long term. We had a lot of issues, obviously, after WrestleMania 8, and he kind of exit stage left again. WrestleMania 30 was an injury he had, didn't come back for a while. And, there was just other things. I mean, unfortunately, he did have an injury with Scott Steiner that kind of basically ended his career. But yeah, I do think that Lex Luger, and again, I do want to talk about 92, but I think Lex Luger did, if you look at the 1990s, Lex Luger pretty much was consistently a constant. So I guess you could make a stronger case that Luger should have, been in the Hall of Fame. Whereas if you think about it, Sid definitely had, I mean, listen, he was going back, you're an NWA guy, your dad obviously was, he was supposed to be the next big thing from the Horsemen. And if you look at it, he didn't really do that. Luger, at least I could say, even though, his career is disappointing somewhat to an extent, he was a consistent figure throughout the entire 1990s. So, but that's a fair point, what you made. Let's talk about night 2, because you're going to be there, and let's get into it. And so talk to me about some of the things you're looking forward to most here coming up.
I am looking forward to the way that WrestleMania is going to kick off, as everybody is. I mean, during the commercial breaks last night, one of the things they did was they did the Obafemi strut cam, where they panned around the crowd and everybody's doing the strut. Listen, Tom, every time Obafemi's face came on the screen, every time there was something like that, the place went nuts. And I cannot wait for the reaction tonight. I think it is the best way to start off WrestleMania night number 2. The energy is going to be insane. It's the perfect opponent for both of these guys. And then the bell's going to ring, and if you blink, you're going to miss it. And then Tom, I'm anxious to see who wins this match. Everybody thinks it's a foregone conclusion that Oba is going to win. I'm not convinced. Like, I know we started last night with the feel-good Usos and LA Knight win, and I'm pretty confident we're going to start with an Obafemi win tonight as a feel-good, especially because it's on ESPN proper. But, Tom, I'm not 100% convinced that he's going to win. I think there is a strong chance that Brock wins. I do. I'm in the minority.
You just basically contradicted your own statement, because Well, because think about it, when you open a show, it doesn't matter what it is, you always start off with the feel good moment. I mean, it's textbook. Listen, I mean, I do wrestling from the backyard level to the WWE. It's always you got to start them. I've even had the guys like Brown. So you start the show if you got to have the hot intro and the hot opener, and Oba winning would exactly be that. But yet you say Brock may still win Brock Lesnar.
Brock makes it, and the reason is because I said this on our podcast. I've said it numerous times. My hesitation with Oba is after he beats Brock, where does he go? He has to be world champion. Are you ready to make Obafemi your world champion? Are you ready to ride that rocket all the way to the moon and hope it doesn't burst and flame out before it gets there? Like, I'm not saying that Oba is not capable, because we know we've seen him in NXT and we know the charisma that he has and his in-ring skills are really good. But Tom, look back at Brock Lesnar 2002. He debuted the night after WrestleMania. He won the championship from The Rock at SummerSlam, and he was gone from the WWE less than 2 years later. I'm not saying it's going to burn out Obafemi. It worries me if he is champion within the first year. Like, where do you go from there? Like, I just don't know what the story is for Oba if he immediately wins the championship. I know what it is if he loses tonight. You build him back up, and you don't have to immediately, because look, he's on Raw. If Roman Reigns wins tonight and Obafemi wins tonight, people are going to be wanting Obafemi to beat Roman Reigns. Is that going to happen, Tom? No, it's not. Not right away. No. So just what do you do with it?
But if Brock Lesnar wins and Roman Reigns wins, Roman Reigns now has an opponent that can tie him up for a little while and maybe restart a reign. From literally figuratively, Roman Reigns' reign, and I think that's what you're saying is if you book Brock to win and Roman wins tonight, we know the history between Roman and Brock. Now Roman's got somebody that Brock's a believable challenger. We know the history, and that's way gets Roman off to a strong start, because more than likely Roman would retain his championship over Brock Lesnar, because Brock doesn't need the title at this point. So that's what basically is your counter argument.
And you could go there. You could not go there. All I'm saying is if Oba wins, there's so much pressure to put the title on him now, I think, that it's too much too soon. Let's ease into it a little bit. You make him the babyface fighting underneath. Listen, WWE likes to stack adversity on their baby faces. Just look at Cody Rhodes. Look at WrestleMania 39. Yeah. So if you want to do that with Obafemi, you have the chance. Have Brock Lesnar beat him. Having said that, Tom, while I can sit here and make that argument, there's the other side that Obafemi wins this match hands down, and it's the feel-good moment, and Brock Lesnar puts him over, and Brock Lesnar's riding off into the sunset at SummerSlam this year, and he's doing jobs on the way out. I don't know if that's the way you want to end Brock Lesnar, but it would be a
Well, we know that that's what happens. We just saw that with AJ Styles. I mean, Cena, basically did that. I mean, so by and large, with the exception of Sting, that's the time-honored tradition. I mean, that's if that's going to be the end of Brock Lesnar, but I guess it remains to be seen. Let's talk about CM Punk and Roman Reigns for a minute. Obviously, a lot of people have been waiting for this for a long time. It's finally here. I mean, so what do you think? You think then, just like how AJ Lee lost to Becky Lynch, that CM Punk is going to lose also to Roman Reigns? What's your thoughts?
I think it's a sad time in the Brooks household for the next week or so, because I think that Roman Reigns claims his throne back. Roman Reigns stands tall at the end of night.
Roman, he's here to save the WWE. He said it. He's here to save the WWE.
He's here. I made this point on our podcast on the preview show. There's a time-honored tradition in WWE of bringing the world champion to the Today Show in New York immediately following WrestleMania. Who are you taking to New York, Tom? Are you taking CM Punk or are you taking Roman Reigns?
I'm taking Roman Reigns 10 out of 10 because CM Punk, he's not at all. He's the antithesis of who I bring to the Today Show. Oh, I know that.
Bingo. So if you bring CM Punk to the Today Show, all Roman Reigns or anybody else has to do in the next promo and be like, look, Phil, you're not this man of the people. You're a suit wearing, you're with the company now. You sold out to the company. That's immediate shot at CM Punk. So I think that's not the only reason that Roman Reigns wins this match, Tom, but I think it's a big picture. Roman Reigns lost at WrestleMania. This would be 3 years in a row if he
Yeah.
loses tonight. I do not see it happening. A lot of people, Andy mentioned this on our post show last night on the Squared Circle Radio YouTube channel, talking about how the Cody Rhodes Randy Orton match was slow. If you thought that was slow, Tom, get ready for the main event tonight.
I know.
Because
We Roman matches are very, famously going back a few years ago, him in the chamber with Sami Zayn. Yeah, we're gonna be waiting a minute before these two men touch. There's gonna be the stare off. They're gonna look at each other. They're gonna be pacing around the ring. Yeah, I get it. I can totally visualize exactly what you're saying.
And Punk's 40 something years old or whatever, and he doesn't wrestle fast matches anymore. So it's going to be the first 20 minutes you could take a nap in this match. I have a feeling.
Listen, Roman hasn't been in the ring much, and also we know his own health issues. So I mean, between the two of them, you're not going to get a match that's gonna certainly be, let's say, Seth and Gunther, for example.
Right, which was fantastic, by the way.
Absolutely.
But I do think at the end of the night, the pace will pick up. The match will be great. The false finishes will be awesome. The people will be on the edge of their seats. Will there be outside interference? Will the Usos play a part? Will a certain Rock show up? Will anybody else from the Samoan Dynasty show up? It remains to be seen. I don't know. I think you do need something for people to talk about at the end of night number 2, aside from just Roman Reigns standing tall, because as good as that would be, I don't think that's enough. I think we need something. What that is, I have no idea. All I know is that I am very confident that Roman Reigns walks out as the World Heavyweight Champion to end WrestleMania.
And if you think about it, Cody retains at night 1, but at night 2, you would almost expect a title change. And Roman, again, we know his history with the titles, but since he hasn't had the title in a while, to your point, this would be the moment to restart Roman. And Roman, again, has said he's back and he's here to save WWE in many ways. And CM Punk, well, it's been great to see him back on top. And, we know the history there and such. I don't think CM Punk is going on the Today Show. I mean, I could almost bet my life on that. So I think that is a fair point. And listen, AJ and CM Punk have had, a great run. It's a feel-good moment, but I think now it's time to maybe make an adjustment. Maybe we'll still see Punk, I'm sure, but I think it's time to certainly go into a different direction there. Let me ask you, because I actually want to give you something. I want to share my screen in a minute or two. We'll put your YouTube and X links up here in a few minutes, but do you expect any title changes here on night 2, aside from what we just spoke of?
I do expect the Intercontinental Championship to change hands.
I knew you were going there with that. I knew you were going there with that.
6-way ladder match. And if you listen to our night 2 prediction show, which is available on our YouTube channel, go check it out. I picked Javon Evans to win the Intercontinental Championship tonight. I think it's on ESPN, especially if Brock Lesnar beats Obafemi. You got to give the people something to cheer about on ESPN. As much as I love Penta, and as much as he's done really nice things with the Intercontinental Championship, I think if you're putting over somebody young, it's Javon Evans' time to win the Intercontinental Championship. I think he does it tonight. If I'm predicting, I unfortunately think that Jade Cargill retains.
I know you have long said, even going back to your AEW days, you're certainly displeasure about Jade Cargill in the ring.
That hasn't changed, Tom. It has not changed.
I know. I've known you 5 years, and you've always, with this one thing we could say about Chris Belcher in the Squared Circle Radio, you have always been consistent in your dislike of Jade Cargill in the wrestling ring. You've always been that way.
It's terrible. It's just awful. And I'd mentioned earlier in this show about the kick in the pants that the women's division needs. Another nice kick in the pants would be Rhea Ripley being world champion again. And I don't think it's going to happen. I think she's there to put over Jade Cargill. and it is what it is at this point. I think, let's see, the other championship, Tom,
Sami Zayn and Trick
if
Williams.
if there is a lock, as confident as I am that Roman Reigns is going to win tonight, I am way more confident that Trick Williams is winning the United States Championship from Sami Zayn. I just don't think there's any way he doesn't. There's no way Trick Williams walks out empty-handed. I don't know why you had to insert Sami Zayn into this. I don't know why you had to give him this WrestleMania match other than to put over Trick Williams. And it just is what it is, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's a credible opponent, gives Trick something to build off, gives him a belt. Sami, has been there. He's certainly a guy that's hung around. He's definitely a name, and it gives him a name victory at WrestleMania. I mean, we've seen this time and time again. And so you think Jade retains, Trick Williams will win, but you think Penta is going to lose the Intercontinental Championship?
I do think so. Yep. I think Javon Evans. I think Javon Evans wins the Intercontinental Championship. And then there's one more match tonight.
When I heard Shawn Michaels talking about Evans, I think you might be on to him, because I was hearing Shawn Michaels. He did 2 interviews. He did one with was Carmelo Anthony's podcast, and he did another one. The way they were bringing Evans up, I kind of think you might be right on Javon Evans. So that
look at that match. Look at that match. Yeah. You've got Penta, you've got Rusev, you've got JD McDonough, you've got Rey Mysterio, you've got Javon Evans.
Rey Mysterio is not winning the Intercontinental title.
Rey Mysterio is not winning the Intercontinental Championship. I don't remember who the last person is in that match.
JD McDonough.
JD McDonough. Okay, JD McDonough. Okay, he's not winning. He's not. So it's either Penta or it's Javon Evans. And I think
Rusev's not winning the Intercontinental title. No.
I don't think so either. No. Now, if Penta retains, I'm not going to be disappointed because Penta, I think, is a great champion. But I think it's Javon Evans. I think it's his time.
And the last match before I give you something to let you get out of, because I know you're very excited, and we don't blame you being there. And you've been at many WrestleManias, so that's obviously quite an accomplishment. But
this is WrestleMania. What is this? Let's see, 34, 35. 42. 38, 39. So this is number 5 for me.
I remember the first time we connected on WrestleMania coverage, and you were there back in 2022. I remember it. I remember you there because I remember we did the show, and it was like a cold day here in New York, and you were there. I think you and Andy were there. So yes, I remember it. I remember it all too well. But Finn Balor and Dom, I mean, what do you think? I think that's one of the more intriguing matches on both night 1 and night 2.
Tom, I think if you blink, you're going to miss this one too, because I think it's a Demon Finn Balor squash special. I think he beats Dominic Mysterio in 5 minutes or less, and a lot of people are going to be disappointed by that. But I think we get a standard Finn Balor versus Dominic Mysterio at Backlash. Okay. We run this back, and we get a good, solid 15 to 20 minute match, tearing the house down in the way that they could. But Tom, we're bringing the Demon back for a reason. Dom can take a squash and it's fine. I think this is just a feel good moment, and this is just, bringing back the Demon for a good moment and a squash match. And that's going to be that. As excited as we are, that's what it's a spectacle.
And that is, and you talk about feel-good moments, and I'm going to create a feel-good moment here for us on Sportswire Radio, because you, Andy, and Jared Justice, the late, great Jared Justice, are going in the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame again for 5 years plus coverage. So this is now a second time that the Squared Circle radio show is going into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame, and we'll be sure to give you the physical copy when we're off the air. And this is exactly why we have Chris Belcher and Andy and the late, great Jared Justice still doing coverage for us, and why they are one of the premier wrestling shows, not just on Sportswire, but you can catch them every Monday night right after Raw. So they'll give you their takes. They'll give you everything else. You want to join the conversation, do that on their YouTube channel, X, and you can find out why these guys are one of the very premier shows in all of wrestling coverage. Forget about Pat McAfee. Forget about Dave Meltzer. Forget about Eric Bischoff. Forget about Conrad Thompson. Forget about all those different guys busted open. I don't even listen to it anymore, but I listen to Chris Belcher and Andy York and the late, great Jared Justice. So that's exactly why, ladies and gentlemen, they are going into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame for 5 years plus of wrestling coverage. And this is a second time we will give them that physical copy. And if you have a chance, Go out there and hit that sub button. They're 2 subs away from 400. That means the next plateau is 500, and 500 gets them a little bit closer to 1,000. That means they can get super chats. If you want to give them a super chat, you can do that. That's the next step. So they'll get their Google passcode to get them monetized. So they're getting there. Slow and steady wins the race. These guys are going to win the race because life is definitely a journey, and it's definitely the reason why that they are in the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame here for a second time. Anything else that you want to add here about night 2 or anything else about WrestleMania that we haven't touched upon before I let you get out of here?
Well, man, 2 times in the Hall of Fame. That's pretty cool. Did not expect that today. That's awesome. I will say this, man. WrestleMania has been weird without the late, great Jared Justice. It's been quite weird for me. But it's still WrestleMania, and it's a lot of fun. And people can crap on the match times, and they can crap on the number of ads, and they can crap on the number of ring sponsors, and they can do this, that, and the other.
Yeah, my friend brought that up. Oh, my friend Joseph Rose, again, who's not the quintessential traditional wrestling fan. He was not somebody that knew most of the roster, not somebody that had watched, match after match, but was like, oh boy, that ring and all those sponsors. I don't get it.
I posted a comment on Facebook replying to somebody earlier, and I said, look at the NFL. The trophies are sponsored. How many commercial breaks are in the Super Bowl, and how much football time do we actually get? And you pay top dollar for the NFL.
Right.
Look at the NBA. The tournaments
they have ads now on the jerseys. Baseball is the same thing now.
Yep. So guess what? WWE is just run the exact same way. Are we used to it as wrestling fans?
No,
we're not. And it's a hard adjustment, and I get that. But Tom, if I could be harsh for 1 second, I know that not everybody on Sportswire Radio watches WWE, and that's fine. WWE might not be for everybody else. But if you claim to be a WWE fan and you watch WWE on a regular basis, and you are one of the ones complaining about all of this, just stop watching, because it's a choice. You don't have to watch it. You don't have to be negative. You don't have to spew all these negative comments and bring the rest of us down. Just don't watch it. You know why, Tom? Because it's entertainment. Right. You have a choice of all entertainment that you want to watch. I do not like Will Ferrell. Shocking. I don't like any Will Ferrell movies. Guess what? I don't watch, Tom. Will Ferrell movies because I don't want to. It's not my favorite form of entertainment. So if WWE is not your favorite form of entertainment anymore, don't watch it. But leave the rest of us alone who want to watch it.
And there's still, judging by how WWE is doing, there is a lot more people, I think, that are watching WWE than not watching WWE. So listen,
I will say this, Tom. Being in the building last night, everybody complaining about attendance, there were not nearly as many empty seats as people think.
I saw them. We all did on the screen, but considering I think 3 or 4 weeks ago how they were talking, we're going to see it was always going to be like 30% of the venue when it wasn't the case at all.
No, I looked. There were 2 sections in the top that were near the set that were tarped off. Now, there were a couple sections of the 500s that were only about half full, and there were a couple of seats in the 400s that were not full, and some floor seats that were not full. But, Tom, for the most part, they put 50,000 people in that stadium when people said they couldn't do it. Now, did they paper it? Did they lower the ticket prices? Who knows? But the point is, Tom, this TKO situation is not going to get any better because people are still paying. They're still paying for it. So,
and it's 50,000 people is 50,000 people. It doesn't matter how you got there. It's just like in the record business. Now, a lot of bands now, they give away their album via digital download or a ticket if you buy a show. So, I mean, 50,000 is 50,000 people. So at the end of the day, I mean, find me a show that has 50,000 people in them, and you're going to probably say,
guess what?
Well, none other than WWE.
Allegiant Stadium only holds 60,000 people, Tom. So you're talking about building a set and, blocking off some of those seats and then maybe a couple extra, and that's it. Okay. It is what it is. All I'm saying, Tom, I know I just went on a huge rant about
No,
this.
you're there. You're one of the few people that's actually in the building, so you have a unique perspective
Yep.
that I think a lot of other people may not, because there's certainly the talking heads, the armchair quarterbacks that may certainly have one opinion, but you're actually there. You're there right now as we speak. So there's nobody that knows this better than you.
People complain about ticket prices. Tom, the price of ticket that I paid, and I bought my tickets a month and a half ago. The price ticket that I paid was $100 more than I paid for New York at WrestleMania 35 in 2019.
I believe
that.
that.
And I'm still sitting in the lower bowl. And guess what I got, Tom? I got 2 nights, not just one. So all I'm saying is just look at it differently. Look at the other side. Look at a different perspective. It's not as bad as people think it is. I'm just sick of the negativity
because
that
everybody
WWE.
Before I let you go, because you want to actually get into it, because everybody wants these tickets to be free. Everybody wants these tickets to be a discount. But listen, you brought up the Super Bowl. Look at the absorbent cost it is to go to the Super Bowl. That's only one game. Look at you want to go to the World Series. If you want to go to the NBA Finals, listen, I'm in New York, and the NBA playoffs just started. Game 1 was yesterday, and the New York Knicks. And the Knicks tickets, forget about it. I was talking with my friends, and that's just the first round of the playoffs. This little old first round against the Atlanta Hawks. So it doesn't matter where you go. College football, if you're a college football fan, look at the cost it was for the championship game. So it doesn't really matter at this point. If you're going to want to go to a venue in an event like this, it's a bucket list, once in a lifetime thing. It's either you're going to pay up or, watch it on ESPN Plus. You complain about that too, but that's the reality of it.
It's called inflation, Tom. It's what we're living in. We're not going to get political, but it's what we're doing.
I'm in the world of politics, and I get that. But I'll tell you what, Chris Belcher definitely is not worried about that, nor should he be, but he's most importantly now in the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame for a second time. And you can check out the Squared Circle Radio Show. Check him out on YouTube at Squared Circle Radio. You can also check him out at X on XQ_radio. Please check out what he and Andy do. And obviously the late, great Jared Justice is still certainly observing and making sure these guys continue to bring you the wrestling coverage that you get here on Sportswire Radio. So please support the guys, and we'll give them this physical copy when we're off the air. My friend, I'll pass the baton to you, give you some closing thoughts, and anything else you want to plug, share, or say, take it away.
All right. After my rant, I'm not going to rant again, but I do appreciate you having me on, Tom, to talk about WrestleMania. I appreciate the fact that Squared Circle Radio is the premier destination for all things WWE on Sportswire Radio. And if you have discovered our show through Sportswire Radio, we appreciate your support more than you could ever know. And if you're new to our show, if you haven't checked out our show, please make sure that you do that. As Tom said, every Monday night live after Raw, Andy and myself give you our immediate reactions. We talk about all things WWE, old school, new school. There's something for everybody on Sportswire Radio. I've been watching wrestling my entire life, and I love to talk about the old stuff, but as you can tell, I'm also passionate about the new stuff. So there's, again, something for everybody. Andy has a lot of different takes than I do, sees wrestling in a different way than I do. A lot of times, he's the young buck for a reason. And if you put 2 and 2 together, you know why he has that nickname. But I digress. Again, we're here to just talk about wrestling and have a good time. And if that's what you want to do, that's what you love doing, just join us on Monday nights. And if you don't catch our live show, you can always catch the replay. We do our best to respond to each and every comment, question, concern that we get. We love interacting with our fans. 2 subscribers away from 400. And like Tom said, that next threshold is 500. And we appreciate each and every one of you who go out of your way to support us. We really do.
Absolutely. Listen, 500 is a big one, and that allows them at least access to Super Chat, a community page, and that'll get them also the Google code to get them to monetization. So they're getting there. I know it's certainly a Rome wasn't built in a day, but they're almost there, and you got me there, and you got me there several times over. So do me a favor. Please support the guys. Chris is on his way now to his seat. So, my friend, thank you so much for all you do. Congratulations once again and going into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame for a second time. And we'll definitely talk with you, I'm sure, after WrestleMania Night 2. And looking forward to seeing what you and Andy have to say, most importantly, after Monday Night Raw tomorrow.
I can't wait. As Triple H likes to say, as soon as WrestleMania is over, the next season begins, and he's already got a script for Monday Night Raw, and
That's
the
it.
product never ends, and we're going to be right here to cover every bit of it.
Absolutely. WrestleMania is the only season afterwards. There's no off season in wrestling. We know that.
Right.
And everybody always looks forward to. Sometimes the second most important show of the year is the night after WrestleMania. And these guys will be glued to it, and they cover it like nobody else does. And they cover it each and every week. That's why we call them our anchor show here on Sportzwire Radio. That's Chris Belcher. He's getting ready to his seat to go to WrestleMania Night 2. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice figuratively and literally with all music and all wrestling matters. And until then, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. On another one, Global Radio, that is Sports Wire.